What is going on, guys? Judo Sloth here, and welcome to today's Clash of Clans video featuring the top 3 attack strategies at Town Hall 9 right now. These are the best attacks. I have done a video like this a good few months ago, so let's give you an updated version. Coming in at number 3, we have the Hog Riders for Town Hall 9. Pretty standard in its deployment in terms of this attack strategy. Nothing has really changed, and it is still a beast, and why it is in our top 3. You need to set that funnel. A couple of golems and wizards tend to work best, and then bringing the bowlers from your clan castle into the middle of the base really wrecks the core as such. You can use Valkyries as an alternative if you don't have access to bowlers, but basically once you've carved out the middle of the base, you should then be able to use Hog Riders pretty easily around the outside of the base. You can see how they come in from the north, and they are going to track right the way around this side of the base. There's nowhere else for them to go. All of the defenses in the middle of the base are down, and if you get the Hog Riders in quick enough, you can protect your troops in the middle as well. That's extra important in terms of cleanup. You want to make sure you have enough time to take down the base in itself. However, if you are going to take anything in terms of extra troops, make sure you're taking a few extra wizards. One, if you are starting off the attack strategy, you want to make sure that that funnel is set. You don't want your bowlers walking around the side. You need that middle down, and if you have some left over, then use them for cleanup. Once Hog Riders have taken out an area of the base, get the wizards in already so that they can start clearing out the trash buildings on the outside and ultimately help you to get the 3-star attack. Let's move on to attack strategy number 2, and it is the LavaLoon attack strategy. Now, these reason that I've put this as number 2, and I actually have 2 different variants of the number 2, the LavaLoon strategy, before we move on to the number 1. So the first one here is a queen charge technique, then we will show you a kill squad technique as well. So the reason I've put LavaLoon as number 2, even though strength wise it might be arguably in some people's opinions number 1, make sure to let me know your top 3 down in the comments, is because it's a little bit more difficult to perform. It's a higher skill cap attack strategy. In this case, we're using the queen to take out the enemy queen and then again strip apart some of the base in order to help pathing with the balloons. They're a defense targeting troop, so you need to be able to control them. Another thing which is really key to get down, depending on what is in there, is the enemy clan castle. So you can see we're taking that down. We've managed to get an air defense, and also we are taking down some point defense. An air targeting expo is obviously huge. Alongside wizard towers can be very deadly depending on the pathing of your balloons. If your balloons are clumping up and getting to the wizard tower last, then it can be very troublesome. The air sweepers are another thing you need to consider, hence why the queen is going to step up and try to take this one down, but if not, it doesn't matter. We're coming from behind the other air sweepers first in order to path balloons onto them. Now, the main thing about LavaLoon is thinking about your pathing. If these balloons in the south here were not in quick enough, you can see how the balloons have now moved into the core itself. They probably wouldn't have done that. It's a little bit harder to plan where the balloons will go if you're not moving around the base in a set fashion. So if you want balloons to get into the center of the base, you're going to have to come with a wider spread. That means that you're taking out the defenses on the outside, meanwhile the balloons close into the middle of the base. I hope that makes sense. With the queen charge, try your best to get that LavaLoon in quick enough in order to protect the queen. She's still got the healers there. You don't want to lose out on them troops, and what that means is by protecting the queen, if there are any defenses where the LavaLoon starts to fall short, you might be able to finish off the base with the queen. But what if you don't want to use a queen walk? What if your queen is a little bit under leveled? You don't want to use that technique. Well, you can still use a kill squad similar to the Hog Rider technique that you've seen in attack strategy number 3. Again, you need to set up that funnel. Baby dragons are fantastic to do that alongside the golem and wizards, and it's a similar principle. You want the bowlers to come into the center of the base and take down many of the key defenses that would struggle the LavaLoon in itself. So you can see we're taking down the queen, the enemy CC, air defense, there's an upward export, there's an air sweeper that we're going to be able to target onto. Many defenses. Actually, we're not going to get the air sweepers here because the queen has walked. However, the principle means the same. We're coming in, taking out them areas of the base so that the LavaLoon can then take out the rest of the defenses. So even though the troops walk here, it would have been more beneficial. Don't get me wrong. Definitely would have been better for them to get into the middle of the base. We're still able to take down them dangerous things in that of the queen. Even if you don't take down the queen, you can sometimes pop a skeleton spell on top, and we have to just adapt the plan. You can see how a set of balloons comes in to get this expo, otherwise the pathing would be more difficult. As we come into the bottom, you can see how the balloons will just move through these defenses. If that group of balloons at the top had not taken the sweeper and the expo, you can see how the balloons as they move through would have started to split up a little bit more and move up towards the expo. That is not the case now that we've counteracted that, and it means that your spells can be used a little bit more wisely. As the balloons do start to clump together again, we have the heal spell in order to help with them all towards the back end. You can see that there was a wizard tower. If you have a wizard tower that your balloons are coming to, yes, you can bring your balloons in surgically at the start, but when they get to the end, they will start to clump up. You can use any kind of spell in order to get your balloons over that quickly, or you can use a balloon on the back end in order to help out. Using that balloon on the back end can sometimes be helpful as well in order for cleanup. If you've taken the defenses down, get the balloon in order to help take out them trash buildings. Now the number one, it's going to be controversial, but it is the witches. It is a beast at Town Hall 9 right now, and even though the LavaLoon could be stronger in some people's minds, the witches is certainly an easier strategy to use, and why right now at the end of 2018 I'm having it as the number one for Town Hall 9. It's quite simple, guys. Again, there's a few different methods, but what you really want to do is have tankage along either side of the base. That gets done in that of a golem. So there's a golem on one side, golem on the other, witches following behind, and then a golem, bowlers, couple of witches, and heroes through the middle. That's the idea of the attack. In a nutshell, it's as easy as that. You need some jump spells, 2 of them, to give you access through the base. You don't have the wall wrecker like at Town Hall 10, so you need access through the base. 2 jump spells, 1 heal spell, 1 rage spell, 1 poison for the CC, and that is it, guys. If you can jump and get access through the base in itself, this is a strategy that can work for you. You need to have access through the base. If you don't, then your witches might struggle. Especially if you're going to be getting stuck in an area where there's splash damage, and as long as you have enough buildings on the outside that the witches can shoot in and get defenses on the perimeter, and maintain their health on the outside, then you're good to go. Honestly, a lot of bases can be taken down with this. You can take healers on the outside on the witches if the air defense are more centrally in the base, but it's not a necessity, and it is a fantastic strategy. So that wraps it up for this one. Like the video if you did enjoy it, and let me know your favorite attack strategies in the comments section. Until next time though, guys, I will try and update you on these types of videos every few months. Until next time, peace out.